You have nowhere to go. You're retired. Stay put, please. No, that was a joke, everyone. Don't take it personally. Don't look at me like that. We're here for the UN's newest retired person, Sureshri. And I have to say, on behalf of Sureshri, I'm sure you're very pleased by the turnout for a Monday night. Okay, speech time. Sureshri, we're very glad we have a chance to say goodbye to you in this fashion. And in typical generous Sureshri fashion, you are putting on the party for yourself, which is very, very nice. And obviously you've had a lot of help and support from your colleagues and friends, and you know, everybody's come up to me and said, how's it going? And Sureshri's a wonderful guy and a wonderful human being, and he devoted so much to the system. And, you know, he really deserves everything he gets, and all I could do is agree. You worked in this system for a very long time. How many years?
36.
36 years. And in the internal justice world, you worked for?
About 17 or so. 17
years. I think the only person who worked in the system longer is the woman right behind Christina, Vijaya. And that's really your legacy to the organization. Everybody contributes in their own way, but the fact that you stayed in this racket for so long and helped so many people and helped build up what we have today in a, I'd say, hopefully more robust form in Oslo, but certainly, you know, working on the legacy of what you created with Vijay and other colleagues, including Tina and others, is something that I think you can be proud of. And so when you stand up on that first tee, you hit your first tee shot, you think, yep, I helped contribute to the internal justice system of the United Nations. And when you're on that 18th green, sinking your last putt, you can also think that pleasant thought. On behalf of all of us, Sureshri, thanks very much for hosting such a lovely send-off. You're always welcome to come back. You have lots of friends in the UN system, and you know, the UN system's been good to you, but you've been good to it. So, you know, I hope that we do see you again, and certainly we'll take you up on one of your passions to play golf. There's a little foursome of people that play golf, Bart and myself and Brian Wallace from the Management Evaluation Unit. If others of you wish to play golf, you can send your applications. Consider to see if you're good enough to play with us. But we do have a little something for you. It says Sureshri, it must be for you. And it's a card and a little gift. And I don't know if there's other people here who were present. Many of the colleagues present have known Sureshri for many years. The floor is open. If people would like to say something, I think that would be appropriate.
I'm not good at talking, and he's been dying to say something. So this is my friend Dan.
So feel free.
This is my friend Dan. I worked with him in peacekeeping many years ago, but I also he's been one of my closest friends for pretty much the whole time I've been in the UN. I just wanted to say one thing though, that this is, somebody said it's like a Maharaja's feast. I didn't mean it that way. I meant it as gratitude to everybody that I've known, and including people that aren't here. I wish I could send, you know, in some form, the gratitude that I have for everybody. So thank you, Dan, saved me.
Well, I'm going to pass the ball back to you in a minute.
Okay, all right.
You know, so you have time to put a few thoughts together, okay? A little bit about what these 36 years have meant to you, Sureshri. It's probably been in the back of your mind a little bit, but anyway, my name is Dan Dewey, and thank you, Sureshri. I just retired January 1st also, and I can tell you it's a very relaxing experience. I was saying, we went to our first AFEX meeting. We had the president of AFEX here the other day, and this was like 3 or 4 months after I retired, and I ran into some other people from my office who had just retired, and you know, retirement is a very relaxing thing, and the way I really felt was that I had died and gone to heaven, you know, because I'm running into all these other people that I worked with, you know, who don't have any pressure anymore either, right? So there, we just everything, how's things? Wonderful, wonderful. So, but it is very relaxing. I'm sure there's certain aspects we need to adapt ourselves to. But what I want to say, a couple of aspects of Sureshri's work, contributions to the UN that I'd like to just underline, and things I helped him out with. Two things in particular. In his early years, I think it's even before in the early years when he was in this office, even before that. But Sureshri was organized two very, very special events. And these are things that you don't see going on in the UN too much anymore. One was the peace run for the UN. Every year, Sureshri would organize, starting in Lake Success, where the UN Secretariat was first set up. Lake Success, New York. It's about 17 miles, just over the border in Nassau County. And he would organize a run for the UN. And somebody would carry the UN flag. People would carry flags for their own nation. I was the guy traveling along, giving drinks along the way. But he really tried to bring the UN to New York, to the ordinary New Yorker, to show the flag, so to speak. We always talking about showing the flag over it, having the UN flag here or there. Sureshri brought the UN flag to the streets of New York. He did this voluntarily for himself for a number of years. He wasn't paid for this. Someone on his own. I think that's something that needs to be brought out, because Sureshri does have a very, very deep respect and deep appreciation for the goals and the principles that this very unique organization that we all contribute to. And he contributed in a very, very real way. And the other thing that he used to do every year was he organized, I forget what it was called, but the peace walk. What was the peace walk? Right. And he would have he had a big the charter of the UN. Is it here?
James, it's right. Go in that door, and the plaque is just inside there. Can you take it down?
And every year, it was on maybe it was UN Day or around the time, he would organize in the UN garden. And he had a time set aside for each delegation to 190. Well, at that time it was maybe about 160, 70, and they would walk around. We would walk around the UN garden with this charter, the United Nations, and he got a lot of very good support from ambassadors would come. Hopefully, when he gets the floor again in a couple of minutes, he can expound a little bit more on this. But again, he did this on his own, voluntarily, to support the charter of the UN. These were two aspects besides his work in this department that Sureshri did, on his own, to promote the principles of the UN and the goals of the United Nations. And I think that's part of his contribution to this organization. I'm speaking too much, but I think finally I would just like to say he really is a very good person. He's one of the best people that I know. He's very, very honest and straightforward, and I'm sure in his own way he has made a real, in many ways, besides what I've said now, has made real contribution to this very unique and very special organization. So, okay.
Can another retiree say something before we turn the floor over to Sureshri? Yes, I'd like to say that
Unless I have to say.
I knew Sureshri primarily in his last 17 years in the UN, the time that he joined the panel of council that has now become this department. And what was wonderful about Sureshri, at the time I was sort of a volunteer when I was working, and then after I stopped working, and I would always call up for some piece of paper that I needed, or some guidance as to some law that he knew about, and he was always so calm. And you would go into that office and see papers piled up to the ceiling on everybody's table, and he would know just where to find something, and he was just so calm about everything, with people freaking out all around him, and people sending cables from all over the world saying, you have to assign me somebody immediately. I'm going to lose my job tomorrow. And he took it all so seriously, and he did everything he could to help. I know he put long hours in there, and a lot of people, aside from those that have worked with you, but in far off places, will be very grateful to you, Sureshri, because you helped a lot.